Vulcan, I knew that you would find us.
Did you get separated? Where are the others?
Well, the attack of this concubine took us by surprise. The group was broken up, and unfortunately not everyone managed to escape. We set up camp and did some reconnaissance.
What did you find out?
Not very much for the moment. This area is particularly hostile. There is a powerful, corrupting magic everywhere. It seems to strengthen the undead and weaken us. Nevertheless, Mathras seems to thrive in this strange atmosphere. He has been serving as our scout.
I've been sensing something unhealthy in the air. This field of corruption might cause us to slow down.
I can feel it too. It's not the nicest feeling I've ever had, but I don't think it's gonna slow us down much.
Speak for yourself. My head feels like an anvil, and that's without my even listening to Randval say anything. If I have to continually fight against this evil magic, there's a good chance that I will start to slow you down.
I understand. Let's go and find Mathras. He might have found out something useful.
Vulcan, how can I help you?
Let's change the subject. I need your help. Let's change. Can I do something for you?
No, thank you. I don't need anything for the moment.
Greetings, mercenary. What can I do for you?
Can I have a look at your stock?
Hello, Vulcan.
Let me see what you've made this time. Relmar, you got a minute?
Yes?
I have a few... Do you know this place?
I've never been here, but I've heard about it. Before Blackfrost set himself up here, this was an ancient elven city, long abandoned.
Why is that?
It was a city dedicated to the arts and entertainment. Something about the architecture, or perhaps the place itself, seemed to augment the power of the work that artists here were able to do. The tale is told of a tragedy being performed here that was so powerful that all the spectators and the whole city just died. I'm serious. After that, no elf wanted to come back here. The place was thought to be cursed.
Let's change the subject. I'll leave... Matras, you're still alive.
Are you trying to be funny? Of course I am. Though I did nearly have to change bodies. So here we are, a little closer to our goal. Of course, the next thing we must do is to find a way to dispose of Blackfart's wives.
Blackfart's wives?
Are you shocked? Blackfrost's polygamy is probably a reflection of his megalomania, even though it was quite common in the past. The most powerful of them is called the Guardian. She is protecting the palace entry, and I fear she is invulnerable as long as her 3 sisters live. You must first face the Creator, the Stalker, and then the Watcher, if you are to have any chance of defeating her.
I've already beaten one of them. I can kill the others.
I don't doubt it, but this place is bathed in a kind of corruption that lends strength to these creatures.
Is there a way of getting rid of it?
Probably. There are still a few red scribes around. Stupid though they are, they may have some idea how to proceed. Did you know that before it became Blackfart's Folly, this place was originally a palace built by the elves, devoted entirely to theater and song?
I don't think that's gonna help me much.
Alas, what a dull world it has become. You know, the acoustics in there are quite wonderful. You should give it a listen while you're killing the concubines.
What do you know about these creatures?
Well, I don't know them as intimately as I'd like, but I believe they are women who were chosen for their diverse talents. And our fine Ice Lord decided to transform them. He calls them his concubines, and they serve him faithfully in every way. The dream of many men, I presume.
Matras, do you have a moment?
My dear, I have all of eternity.
I want to ask you a couple of questions. Why are you still here?
Well, you see, my dear, my curiosity knows no bounds. And you already know I'm immortal. I should think those 2 reasons would be enough to allow me to be present for the end of the world, though obviously it is my dearest wish that your little plan should succeed. Your capacity to resist the intrusion in your body of an extraordinary spirit is absolutely fascinating. Know that if the world is not totally destroyed in the next few hours, but that you should fall, I will personally ensure that your story is remembered.
I don't know if I should thank you for that. This Black Frost, have you ever met him before?
It's entirely possible, but if I did, he didn't go by that name in those days. You see, at that time, I found the company of any and all living creatures quite simply unbearable. I had decided to move to an area as far away from anyone else as possible. As the desert climate tends to wear out my bodies faster, I opted to move up to the great frozen north. I lived there peacefully in my modest palace for some years, until one day, a small group of people arrived. There were a dozen apprentice sorcerers who called themselves the White Lords. Believe me, in those days, Lord was about the last thing anyone would think of calling them. On reflection, I should have slain them on the spot for having disturbed my peace and stolen some books from my archives. But I was rather bored, and their thefts intrigued me, and so I followed them. I picked up their trail in a city a few towns along. There were quite a few of them at the time, and the locals seemed to like them well enough.
Are you talking about the Ice Lords?
Yes, of course, though they weren't calling themselves that. I watched them for a while, but they were so ridiculous that I quickly grew bored of them. Clearly, managing to steal from my library had been the result of the merest stroke of luck.
And Black Frost?
Doubtless he was one of them. A talentless conjurer who imagined himself a great mage without having any of the abilities to go with the title. Of course, with the passing of time and using my research, they finally managed to achieve their goal. If they're still the gang of megalomaniacs that they were, then they are extremely dangerous.
Did you know all along that Edwin was really the White Lady?
Yes, even though I almost didn't recognize her with all that clothing on. You may not believe it, But when she was a young girl amongst the White Lords, she liked to stroll around nearly naked.
How come you never said anything?
Oh, please. It would be a shame to spoil the delightful humor of such a situation.
Talk to you later.
Greetings, mercenary. What can I do for you?
Can I have a look at your stock?
I'm happy to see that you are still alive. I wish I could say the same for your companions.
Sybil? Ranville?
Neither they nor your mercenary comrades show any sign of life, which leads me to think, what horrible carnage.
I'll have to go look around the place in case one of them is still alive.
Even if there's only a slim chance, you shouldn't hesitate. Unfortunately, we've got something else on our minds. Mathras doubtless spoke to you about the strange corruption in this place. Corruption that makes the undead much more powerful, sometimes even unbeatable.
Do you know of a way to beat it back or wipe it out?
I believe I have an idea, yes. The corruption does not extend to all places in the same way. Some areas seem to be exempt. And I believe the undead I saw there were less comfortable. These are exactly the same